All right, we'll call the meeting to order. Jen, would you take roll, please?
Commissioner Corbin.
Here.
Commissioner Johnson.
Here.
Commissioner Waldner.
Here.
Commissioner Thel.
Here.
Mayor Lindsay.
Here. Oath of office. Jen, where would you?
Let's go right up front here, sir.
All right.
Oh, we went. Sorry, good. Sorry, Doug. I think everybody's waiting.
Stage manager. We need a stage manager here to get this thing.
All right. Raise your right hand. Repeat after me. I do solemnly swear
I do solemnly swear
that I will support
that I will support
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of South Dakota,
and the Constitution of the State of South Dakota,
and that I will faithfully
and that I will faithfully
discharge the duties
discharge the duties
of mayor
of mayor
for the city of Madison
for the city of Madison
to the best of my ability.
to the best of my ability.
I understand
I understand
that I am not
that I am not
under direct or indirect obligation
under direct or indirect obligation
to appoint or elect
to appoint or elect
any person
any person
to any office,
to any office,
position,
position,
or employment
or employment
under the government of this municipality.
under the government of this municipality.
There we go.
All right, very good. Thank you. Thank you.
I just think of it.
Thank you. You got it. Thank you.
Are we?
Okay, send that back across. Okay, you have before you the agenda for this evening.
Thank you.
Motion to adopt agenda. Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. And under appearances, we have Julie Gross here with the Lake Area Improvement Corporation update.
Congratulations.
Thank you, thank you.
Well, I'm just here for my quarterly update. As you know, First Line Funding Group is working on their building, and they still think they'll be done with the building in that September timeframe, and they'll be moving out. And they currently occupy about 3/4 of the Heartland Technology Center. DSU has about 1/4 of that building. So we're looking for a tenant, and we've had some interest, but it's hard to know if we're gonna have a whole building or 3/4 of the building, because DSU, they could be moving out or they might be staying, so that's still up in the air. We're marketing our spec building. They keep telling me it's an average of 3 years that they're empty, although I don't like to hear 3 years. And we've had some strong prospects, but no one has signed a lease yet, so we're still waiting and working on that. We closed on our loans for the spec building. We started a 4th session of English as a second language, and that ends on May 19th. We might take a break for the summer. We're still determining that. Some of them want to keep going, some of them don't, so I told the instructors it was up to them. We have a loan fund, and we still have some money to loan out. Our interest rate is generally in that 4% range, and we did loan to a business and closed on that last month. We also had our annual meeting in April, and our audit was complete, and you got a copy of the audit, right, Jim?
I did, thank you.
So if any of you want to look at our audit, you can, welcome to ask Jim. Or you can come to me and see it too. We're super excited about the additional townhomes on the south side of Madison that are going to be taking shape this summer. We are updating our website, which should be live in the next couple of weeks. We're going to have a new area in there, like a jobs area. So we figure between the Department of Labor and the newspaper and our website, we should have all the jobs listed. Because if you look, some people only place them on one site. So hopefully between the 3 of them, we can get all jobs open, because obviously workforce is still a big issue here, and we want to try to market as many of our jobs as we can. We belong to a group called Advantage South Dakota. I've probably talked to you about this group before. They kind of market the James River region, which includes Madison. And they've been, they decided to pay, this group decided to pay for a study by Smart Solutions. And it was kind of an expensive study. I just have gotten the draft, and I'm going to be meeting with them tomorrow. But it talks about the top industry sectors in our town, the fastest growing sectors, the jobs by industry, workforce. And that kind of helps you just determine what kind of businesses you should be going after. So, like I said, I just got the draft. It'll help us, to target our population, and it looks at what our education of our people is too. So I'm excited to go through that process, and I'll share the whole report with you when I do receive it. But like I said, it's just a draft. And then, if you may recall, 2 years ago, it doesn't seem like 2 years ago, but we were certified ready site with the Governor's Office of Economic Development. And every 2 years, they want us to recertify. So we're up for recertification this summer. And they've changed some things. We have to do an archaeological study on our industrial park to make sure that everything's okay. And then we have to do soil borings in any sections that haven't been done. So trying to narrow it down, but I think we're gonna have to do at least 10. So there's a cost to this. So we'll see. I think it's gonna be between $6,000 and $7,000. But there is some grant money out there from Northwestern Energy and from Heartland. So we'll be applying for that funding. So.
Is it worth it then
I don't know.
to be site ready, certified?
They say it is, and there have been a couple of times where they've said the only people that can respond are those that are certified ready. They say it's gonna be more often, but I don't know.
A couple over 2 years, if
Yeah.
it's, gets into the $20,000 or $30,000 mark, it's like, so.
It's probably not a bad idea to have an archaeological done though, anyway, in case you happen upon
That's
something.
the cheaper one, it's the soil borings.
Yeah.
So I asked today if we could have less done, less than 10, because the south
Yeah.
side, as you know, doesn't have any infrastructure. I said, it's gonna be a long time before we can really market that. So I'm asking if we can just have the soil borings done
Do
on the
that.
front half and then still be certified. So I
Is-
just asked that today, so we'll see.
Is the soil borings for contamination, is that what they're looking for, or what do they, do you know, or?
No, I think just to see what kind of soil's out there, but.
Well, the
we
good
had
part.
Everybody else, like Global had, just for our spec building, we had like 7 done, and when Raven built their new building, they had 10 done. So you should be able to look at all of them and average it out and say, this is the kind of soil out there. That's what I think, but.
It does vary a little bit, but like you said, you'd be able to share that with your possible tenants and, case, yeah.
So, still working through that.
Okay.
We have till June to decide, but I wondered too,
Yeah.
is it worth it? All right.
All right, questions or comments?
Who does those boring? Did we do those the first time around?
Geotech does them. Has to be certified, something, and can't remember who they, archaeological, do you know? who does that?
There's a lot of different folks who do that.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming down.
Thank you.
Yeah.
If you have any
Thanks,
questions,
Julie.
Call me, the mayor comes to our meetings every month, so, I was asking too, so, thank you.
Very good, thank you,
Thank
Julie.
you.
Is there anything anyone wants to remove from the consent calendar?
Hearing nothing, I make a motion to approve the consent calendar.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Seeing no old business under new business. Resolution number 2016-8, adopt the powers and duties of mayor and commissioners. Jen, do you have something to add on this?
I don't, I was told status quo, so
Okay.
unless there's any changes you'd like to make, we'll stay status quo.
Okay.
Make a motion to authorize the mayor to, oh, excuse me, I'll make a motion to approve resolution number 2016-8, adopt powers and duties of mayor and commissioners.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Authorize the mayor to sign the local government certification emergency solutions grants program for the domestic violence network of the Lakes region. Did you want to speak?
I can,
Very good.
it's empty words.
Okay.
I'm Christy Vandy Wedring. I'm the director at the Domestic Violence Network here in Madison. I'm currently in the grant process with the Emergency Solutions Grant with South Dakota Housing, and we've received this grant before. And this is our main funding source for supporting our rent for shelter, our utilities, and some personnel expenses. As many of you know, we serve quite a few victims in our community on a yearly, over the year. We also serve a lot of victims that maybe don't stay in our shelter, but are trying to get on their feet after a domestic violence situation. So our shelter is pretty important to the community, and this is just a process that we need to go through in order to secure those funds. So, did you have any questions for me? I've been here
No.
before,
Yes.
so I think 2 years, this is my third year, so.
Mhm. Yes. And it's just, the mayor signing it, just the city acknowledges that they are in existence and that they are operating and that they are a worthwhile cause in that to receive that funding.
And the funding is about 25% of our budget for the year, between 20 and 25%.
I'll make the motion to authorize the mayor to sign the local government certification for the Emergency Solutions Grant Program Domestic Violence Network of the Lakes Region.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Thank you, Christie.
Thank you for your time.
From the public safety, thank you
Yes.
for doing
Yes.
this in our community, so. I know the police department and a lot of people appreciate it, so thank you.
Wish we could serve more. I know there's more out there, so.
Thank you.
Number 3, authorize the mayor to sign the professional services agreement, amendment number 2 with HR Green Incorporated for the PCN X03J project 2016-1, Highway 34, 2nd Street reconstruction. Chad, you want to visit on that?
Yes, I can. With the original agreement and the first amendment to the agreement, that was for the design process that HR Green had accomplished for the current project on 2nd Street project, Highway 34, and also the 2019 project of Highway 34. And so those were approved for the design, but there was no work or time included in there. In case there's any reason, we would have to go back and ask them a design question. A lot of time with the design files and such like that, you may need to ask this or that. Minor, I would say it's minor, because I don't anticipate having to check with them. But we've already had a few things with this project where we've had to check with them about, hey, what happened here, what happened there, and they had to look into it. Either something that we thought necessary, or the contractor thought necessary, and both of us concurred to look at it. And so, just to have them a retainer, so to speak, I recommend approving this agreement. It will only be as needed. What's being approved is only up to $5,000. If we don't use any, there'd be none charged for that. I don't anticipate half of that, quite honestly, because we're well into the project. We've sort of worked through some of the initial issues like that. But I think it's good in case we need to make a quick research or looking into an issue, we can do it promptly to have this retainer on hand. If we need anything for the second project, we'll learn how much we would need, and we'll probably do another amendment for the second project as that gets closer too. But I would have no reason to think that one would be very much either. So that's what that is. That's what this is about.
Okay.
As you know, we're doing the main construction admin all ourselves out of my office. Ryan, Haig, and myself are out there quite a bit, and the water department is out there quite a bit too. We all work together on that. So
And if we had to use this, it would be up to a maximum cost of, $5,000, you said?
correct. Yep. But they can't exceed that. Yep. Yeah, I can't foresee an issue that would require that, but would that come up, I'd bring it to your attention again. But like I said, with what we've encountered so far, I don't anticipate it even being, certainly not 5,000, probably not even half of that, so.
You referred to the second leg of the project. Is that Washington? in
That would be
2019?
Washington, yes.
Is HR Green the engineer for that?
Yes, I should have backed up it too, but I'm trying to be too brief. the state hired HR Green to design their project, and so several years ago, as now it's been, time kind of flew, and most of you weren't on the commission at the time, but we went along with that as well to hire HR Green to do that design process as well for our project, our sister project, if you will, to the state's project. Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
And if we didn't authorize this, what would it present, what problems would it present for you?
Well, if there's some issues that we would need to investigate and we're unable to look at them through the appropriate process out of my office, we wouldn't be able to have them look at it until we would identify a specific scope of work, for example, and say, hey, we need to identify this problem, how much time do you think it would take? And then they would say, well, so many hours, it costs $1,200, and then I'd bring that
Has
forth.
come back here.
Right. Where this sort of approves it ahead of time and up to that amount,
Okay.
so.
Thank you. I make a motion to authorize the mayor to sign the professional services agreement, amendment number 2, HR Green Incorporated, PCN X03J, project 216-1, Highway 34 and Second Street reconstruction.
Second?
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Number 4, authorize the mayor to sign the right-of-way certificate with South Dakota Department of Transportation on project number P, SRTS 41, PCN 04P0, signage in the school areas. And again, I'll ask Chad to address this.
Thank you, Your Honor, Commission. This item and the next item on the agenda, 4 and 5, are both related to the Safe Routes to School program grant that was received by the city and the schools jointly several years ago. We're finally getting to the process, after much encouragement, where the DOT is preparing to secure the services of a contractor. They may be able to, it all has to be done according to FHWA rules and regulations, but in this case, they may be able to accomplish that by a change order to our ongoing construction project here. They're still working with FHWA to determine that, but the good news is that finally getting some feedback that they're closer to having this done, and these 2 items are prerequisites that we have to have done and approved before the contractor can be hired, and then, of course, the work before that can start as well. And this particular one just says there's no impact to the right-of-way. We're not gonna have to acquire additional right-of-way or anything, because the project basically includes putting up some signs in the school zones. And that was what our application was several years ago, was to upgrade the signing for the school zones.
Perfect.
Okay.
I'll make a motion, we authorize the mayor to sign the right-of-way certificate for SDDOT project PSRTS 41, PCN 04P0, signage in school area.
Second?
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. And number 5, authorize the mayor to sign the utilities certificate. And this goes right along with that. Chad, do you want to address that any further?
Only to say, if this is for the utilities, again, a kind of a blanket process the DOT asks us to look into, and this particular one just says there's no utilities that will be caused to be moved or adjusted, and if so, we've already contacted them and such. Well, all they're doing is sinking a few sign posts in, so there's obviously none affected with this project.
So again, I'll authorize the mayor to sign the utility certificate.
Second?
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Authorize the mayor to sign a memorandum of understanding with Lake County on the imagery from Pictometry International Corporation. And again, Chad, I'll ask you to address this one.
Thank you. This is a project where we're partnering with Lake County to utilize the aerial imagery and some electronic services that they are they obtained in their project with pictometry. We may have access to an online account that the city departments can share to both look at the aerial photography, but also look at various GIS layers, whether it's at their office or even potentially by mobile device and such. So a little bit of history. We had our first aerial photograph flown in about the 2007 timeframe. And when we partnered with FEMA, when they flew it for the map upgrade for the FEMA maps, and at that time, we had started putting money away. We anticipated it would cost up above $30,000, probably around $35,000 to fly it the next time, and we targeted 10 years. So that happens to be right around this time. But then we became aware of always looking for a partner to do this with, and we became aware that Lake County was doing this, so we started discussions with them that we were able to join in for a small fraction of their costs for this process. The cost is about 10% of their costs, and we'll get 2 images, one this summer yet, and then another one in 5 years, an updated photo, and the cost would be around $13,000 over those approximately 10 years. I think I would recommend proceeding with this. This is much more economical that we partner, about a third of the cost of what we would anticipate if we would do this on our own, and we certainly will have the online capabilities that the county's going to be enjoying with their services with pictometry as well. So that's what this does. This memorializes what we get for our financial contribution, in essence.
Any questions?
Funding source for paying for this? Do we have that built into the budget for the engineer's office?
Good question. Yes, we did talk about this at budget time, and I believe in 2016, you'll notice in the agenda packet, we are supposed to pay $2,159.25 in 2016. I believe we have at least that amount in the budget for this year. But then overall, we have about, I'm not going to get the number, about 28,000 in that aerial photography reserve that we've been building. And so this year's funds, and then I anticipate future years' funds will all come from that reserve.
Thank you.
And just FYI, I attended training on that with Chad, and it is really a benefit to the city, no question.
It's a heck of a deal.
It really is.
Partner with the county.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Thanks, Chad, for
Yeah.
looking at this opportunity and partnering with the county. I'm sure they're grateful that we're taking on some of the cost as well. It's nice whenever we can do that.
It's a good
I have a motion
partnership.
excuse me,
I'm sorry, it's a good partnership, I think, yeah.
It is.
now I have a motion to authorize the
Yes.
mayor to sign a memorandum of understanding with Lake County, the imagery, Pictometry International Corporation.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Anyone have any announcements? I don't see anything on here. No executive session. Do we have a motion to adjourn?
I move.
All right, we have a motion. Did we have a second?
Second.
And a second? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Very good. Thank you, everyone.
The latest.
When are you typically?